At 70, I don't go visiting around. Here's why. Reaching 70 years old feels like crossing into a new chapter of life, a chapter filled with quiet reflections, lessons learned, and a simpler pace. It's not that I've lost the desire to see people, catch up over coffee, or embrace those I care about. Rather, I've discovered that the act of visiting isn't as simple or fulfilling as it used to be. It's not always a matter of energy, but rather a shift in how I value time, relationships, and peace at this stage of my life. Let me take you through the reasons why I've stepped back from visiting and how this decision has helped me find contentment. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. A slower rhythm feels right. As the years have passed, I've learned that life is not a race to be won, but a journey to be savored. At 70, the pace of my days has naturally slowed, and with that comes a deeper appreciation for simplicity. The hurried days of my youth, when time felt infinite and energy seemed boundless, have given way to something gentler, something more deliberate. I no longer wake up with a checklist of things to accomplish or places to go. Instead, I begin my mornings by sitting quietly with my coffee, watching the sunlight filter through the trees outside my window. There's a profound beauty in the stillness that I had never fully noticed before. In these quiet moments, I have found that slowing down isn't merely a necessity of aging. It's a gift that allows me to truly savor every passing moment. Visiting others, which once was a routine part of my life, now feels like stepping into a rhythm that no longer matches my own. It's not that I don't enjoy the company of family and friends, I do so deeply, but the preparation, the effort, and the energy required to maintain a social routine now seem at odds with the calm pace I've chosen. Life at this stage isn't about cramming as much as possible into each day. It's about finding meaning in the time I have. When I was younger, I felt obligated to show up, to be present for every birthday dinner or casual coffee, to be seen, to connect, to be part of something bigger than myself. But now, I find that the connections I cherish most don't necessarily require my physical presence as often. A heartfelt phone call or a thoughtful letter carries as much weight as an in-person visit, sometimes even more. These quieter forms of connection allow me to stay close to the people I love, without disrupting the peaceful rhythm of my days. There's also a certain peace that comes with no longer rushing from one place to another. I've learned that life's most precious moments often happen in stillness. The way the light shifts as the day progresses, the sound of the wind through the trees, or the soft hum of familiar surroundings. These are the moments I would truly miss if I were constantly moving and always doing. I have come to understand that visiting others, while joyful at times, can feel like stepping back into a busier, more demanding world. A world where schedules must align, conversations flow rapidly, and the chance to simply be is as rare as it is precious. At 70, I no longer feel the need to keep up with that frenetic pace. Instead, I choose to remain where life feels steady and calm. There is a kind of wisdom that comes with aging, a knowing that not every invitation must be accepted, and not every moment needs to be filled with activity. I have let go of the guilt that used to accompany declining visits. It is not about being unkind or disinterested, but about honoring my own limits and choosing a life that feels authentic to me. This is not a withdrawal from the world, rather it is an intentional decision to engage with it on my own terms. Sometimes, when I look back, I realize how much of my life I once spent chasing time, always rushing to the next thing, always feeling as if there was never enough time. Now, I have learned to treasure the present by embracing a slower rhythm. I have discovered that time seems to expand in the quiet moments. There is no urgency, no need to be anywhere but here. The choice to slow down and visit less is not about isolation, it is about presence, about being fully here, fully alive in the spaces I have created for myself. In these added moments of reflection, I find solace and a gentle reminder that every pause enriches my experience of life. 2. Energy is precious. There is a truth that becomes undeniable as we age. Energy, once taken for granted, becomes a finite resource. In my younger days, I rarely gave it much thought. I could fill a day with errands, social visits, and late-night conversations, and still wake up the next morning ready to start all over again. Now, at 70, The choices I make with my energy feel more intentional and deliberate. When I wake up in the morning, I no longer rush to fill my schedule. Instead, I listen attentively to my body. There are days when I feel strong and eager, ready to tackle a brisk walk outside or to engage in a long, heartfelt phone call with a dear friend. But there are also days when even the thought of leaving the house feels overwhelming, and that is perfectly acceptable. I have learned to honor my limitations rather than fighting against them. Visiting someone often requires a level of energy that I no longer possess in abundance. It is not just the act of traveling from one place to another, it is the mental and emotional energy required to engage fully, to be truly present, and to listen deeply. These are the aspects of connection that I value dearly. Yet, they demand more from me now than they did in the past. I no longer want to show up somewhere only to feel exhausted or unable to enjoy the moment. Instead, I choose to conserve that precious energy for the activities that genuinely bring me joy and fulfillment. I also find that I have become more selective about how I spend my energy. At this stage in life, every decision feels significant. It is not about being selfish, but about recognizing that my time and energy are limited and I want to invest them wisely. Rather than scattering my attention across countless interactions, I focus on the relationships and activities that matter most to me. That might mean a heartfelt phone call with a grandchild or spending a quiet afternoon immersed in a good book. Activities that replenish me rather than drain me. By being deliberate with my energy, I have discovered a deeper sense of peace and contentment. I no longer feel the compulsion to be everything to everyone. Instead, I choose to be fully present in the moments and connections I value, and that, to me, is the best way to use my energy. In addition, I have come to appreciate that my energy levels vary from day to day, and that is a natural part of aging. Some days I can engage in multiple activities without strain, while on others I must carefully select just one or two that truly align with my mood and physical state. This flexibility in how I allocate my energy has taught me to be kind to myself and to avoid the self-criticism that once accompanied my overexertion. By listening to my body and adjusting my plans accordingly, I create a more sustainable lifestyle that respects my limitations while still allowing me to connect with others in meaningful ways. 3. Modern social expectations feel different. The way people socialize today is not what it used to be, and I often find myself reminiscing about the days when visiting was a simple, spontaneous act. Back then, there was an unspoken understanding that you did not need an invitation to stop by. A friendly knock at the door, perhaps accompanied by a plate of cookies or simply a warm smile, was always welcomed without hesitation. It was never about appearances or strict formality. It was all about genuine connection. Now, however, visiting feels different. It is no longer spontaneous, but is planned, scheduled, and at times even rehearsed. There is an expectation to make everything appear perfect: a tidy home, a carefully prepared meal, the appropriate attire. These seemingly small pressures, though they might be negligible to some, detract from the simple joy of a visit for me. I no longer want to feel as though I must perform when I meet the people I care about. I want to feel comfortable, authentic, and completely at ease. Social gatherings have also transformed over time. Conversations now seem to be conducted at a much faster pace, often superficial, as if everyone is compelled to fit their stories into an ever-decreasing time slot. This leaves little room for the deep, meaningful exchanges that I once cherished. It is not that anyone is at fault. This evolution is simply the way the world has changed. But it does make me long for the simplicity of the past, when time felt slower and connections were more genuine and unhurried. I have also noticed that many homes today are not designed with someone of my age in mind. Stairs that are difficult to navigate, chairs that are too low, and noisy, bustling environments can all make visiting a challenging experience compared to the comfort of my own home. I often worry about whether I will be comfortable, whether I will be able to hear clearly in a noisy setting, or whether I will feel out of place. These small concerns can easily overshadow the pleasure of the visit itself. It is not that I do not value connection. I care deeply about the people in my life. But I have discovered alternative ways to connect that align better with my current needs. A heartfelt phone call, a carefully written letter, or even a video chat allows me to remain close to those I love without the added stress of modern social expectations. These quieter forms of connection feel truer to who I am and have become the cornerstone of maintaining my relationships. In a world that has changed so dramatically, I have learned to adapt in ways that preserve my sense of peace and authenticity, releasing the pressure to conform to every expectation and instead focusing on what is truly important. 4. The comfort of my own space. My home has taken on a new meaning in these later years. It is not merely a place where I reside, but a sanctuary where I find solace, familiarity, and peace. Over time, I have come to understand that no matter how warm or welcoming someone else's space may be, it can never quite replace the comfort of my own. My home is a reflection of who I am. Every corner holds memories, and every object is tied to a story. When I sit in my favorite chair by the window, with the soft light streaming in, I feel deeply grounded. That chair is not just a piece of furniture, it is a vital part of the space that embraces me in a way no other place can. The aromas that drift from my kitchen, the gentle creaks of the floorboards, and the way the sun casts its golden glow in the late afternoon all contribute to a profound sense of belonging. I no longer feel compelled to leave my sanctuary to visit others if it means sacrificing that unique comfort. The prospect of entering someone else's home with its unfamiliar chairs, different layouts, and potential physical challenges can sometimes be daunting. My home has become my retreat, a place where I can fully relax and be true to myself. Outside, the world is busy, noisy, and unpredictable. Within these walls, I find the peace I cherish. 5. Physical challenges. As much as I try to ignore it, my body no longer moves with the ease it once did. I now feel the effects of aging in my knees when climbing stairs, in my back after sitting too long, and in the speed at which I tire compared to years past. These changes, though subtle at first, gradually reshape the way I live my life. They compel me to think twice about activities I once took for granted, such as visiting friends or traveling across town. Every outing now comes with a mental checklist. Do I have enough energy? Will I need to sit for extended periods? Will I be able to navigate their home without experiencing discomfort or pain? These considerations are not mere minor inconveniences. They are tangible obstacles that make the idea of visiting more complicated than it once was. Additionally, I have become more sensitive to the environments I enter. Many modern homes are not designed with older adults in mind. Stairs can seem like insurmountable obstacles. Soft or low seating can be difficult to rise from, and crowded, noisy spaces can leave me feeling unsteady. It is not simply a matter of convenience. It is a question of safety and dignity. I do not wish to feel like a burden, constantly requiring assistance or accommodations, so I often choose the path of least resistance by remaining in the comfortable surroundings of my own home. Accepting these physical limitations has allowed me to adjust my lifestyle without giving up on living fully. I have learned to engage in activities that bring me joy, while respecting the limits of my body. 6. Prioritizing relationships that truly matter. As I have grown older, I have come to understand that not every relationship merits the same level of attention. In my younger years, I felt a strong responsibility to nurture every connection, to maintain every friendship and family tie regardless of the energy it required. Over time, however, I realized that some relationships energize and uplift me, while others drain me without providing much in return. Now, at 70, I have made peace with the idea that it is entirely acceptable to let some relationships fade, while focusing more intently on those that genuinely enrich my life. This is not about harboring resentment or holding grudges. Rather, it is a conscious decision to invest my limited time and energy in the people who truly uplift me. I have learned that a small number of deeply meaningful connections can bring more joy and support than a vast network of acquaintances who offer little in return. I no longer feel obligated to attend every social gathering or to maintain every connection from the past. Instead, I prioritize the relationships that offer reciprocal care and respect. This selective approach has allowed me to build a supportive social network where the energy I invest returns to me many times over. The quality of these relationships is far more important than the quantity, and this realization has brought a profound sense of contentment and peace to my everyday life. 7. Technology as a bridge. In today's rapidly evolving world, technology offers innovative ways to connect, and I have found comfort in using tools that enable me to stay in touch with loved ones, even when I cannot be there in person. I once resisted technology, believing it could never replace the warmth of face-to-face interaction. However, over time, I have come to see it as a valuable bridge, a way to maintain connections even when physical distance or limitations prevent in-person visits. Video calls, for example, have become windows into the lives of my children and grandchildren. Seeing their faces, hearing their voices, and sharing their stories has become a cherished way to remain involved in their lives. Although nothing can truly substitute for physical presence, these digital interactions offer a steady sense of comfort and continuity. I have even learned to laugh at my own mistakes when handling new devices, much to the delight of my grandchildren. Text messages and social media updates, once dismissed as impersonal, now serve as gentle reminders that I remain an integral part of the lives of those I love. Perhaps the most timeless form of connection I have rediscovered is the handwritten letter. In a world dominated by screens, there is something exceptionally personal about putting pen to paper. I have resumed writing letters, not out of necessity, but because they carry a special, heartfelt significance. The process of writing forces me to slow down, reflect on my thoughts, and share them in a genuine manner, and receiving a letter in return is a treasure that reaffirms the strength of our bond. 8. Reflecting on loss. At 70, loss has become a familiar companion, a quiet shadow that accompanies me through life. It is not only the loss of loved ones, although that pain runs deep, but also the loss of routines, abilities, and facets of myself that I once took for granted. Every farewell is a poignant reminder of how fragile and fleeting life is, and this awareness has fundamentally reshaped the way I approach my days and relationships. When I visit others, I sometimes feel the weight of these losses, as if stepping into a space where someone I once knew is now absent. Yet even in the midst of sorrow, I find a gentle prompt to cherish the connections that remain. I honor these losses through quiet, personal rituals, lighting candles in remembrance of those who have passed, and perusing old photo albums that allow treasured memories to wash over me. Although these moments can be bittersweet, they reinforce the value of the time and love I still share with those who remain. This ongoing reflection on loss has taught me to appreciate the present even more and to hold dear the deep, enduring bonds that persist despite time. 9. Protecting my peace. As I have grown older, I have come to understand that protecting my inner peace is not merely a preference, it is an absolute necessity. My peace is a treasure that I guard fiercely, for it forms the foundation upon which I build the rest of my life. While maintaining social connections and visiting others can be joyous, these activities sometimes disrupt the calm I have worked so hard to establish. The preparations, the travel, and the energy required to engage in social interactions can feel overwhelming before I even leave the comfort of my home. I have learned that protecting my peace is not about isolating myself. It is about setting clear boundaries that allow me to live in a manner that is both authentic and serene. When I face the prospect of a visit, I consider not only the potential joy it might bring, but also whether it will disturb the steady, calm rhythm of my day. I deeply value the quiet moments, the times when the world seems to pause, when the soft hum of familiar surroundings and the gentle shifting of light as the day unfolds create a cocoon of calm. These moments of solitude and stillness are when I feel most at peace, and I am careful not to sacrifice them for the sake of obligation. Protecting my peace also means being mindful of my interactions with others. I have learned to say no when invitations feel more like burdens than opportunities for genuine connection. It is not about being unkind or avoiding those I love. It is about recognizing that my time and energy are finite resources that must be allocated wisely. By declining engagements that do not contribute positively to my well-being, I create space for interactions that truly nourish my soul. I no longer feel compelled to fill every minute with activity, and in doing so, I have discovered that true fulfillment often comes simply from being present, reflective, and immersed in a state of quiet contentment. 10. Finding joy in simpler connections. As I have journeyed into my later years, I have come to deeply appreciate the beauty of simplicity in the way I connect with others. The elaborate social events and grand gatherings that once defined my social life now seem less appealing. I derive far more satisfaction from quieter, more intimate forms of connection. A neighbor's warm wave as I pass by, a sincere smile exchanged with a cashier, or a heartfelt phone call with a dear friend. These small gestures, though they may appear insignificant to some, carry immense meaning for me. They serve as reminders that connection is not measured by the size of an event or the number of people present, but by the depth and sincerity of the interactions. I have learned that a genuine, heartfelt conversation can be far more fulfilling than the noise and chaos of a crowded party, and that even a handwritten letter, thoughtfully composed and sent to someone special, can brighten a day and reinforce the bonds that matter most. I cherish these simpler forms of connection because they allow me to be fully present and engaged without the pressure to perform or impress. By embracing simplicity, I have discovered that the true richness of life is revealed in the quiet moments. Moments that consistently remind me of the beauty and love that surround me every day. 11. The importance of being present. Throughout all these changes, one underlying truth remains: the profound importance of being present in every moment. At 70, I have come to understand that the pursuit of constant busyness often leaves little room for genuine presence. We rush from one obligation to the next, rarely pausing to fully experience the world around us. Yet, when we slow down and allow ourselves to be fully present, whether in conversation, solitude, or in nature, we discover that life unfolds with a richness that a hectic schedule simply cannot provide. Being present means appreciating every detail: the sound of laughter, the warmth of a hug, the gentle shift of light as the day progresses, and rejecting the notion that we must always be doing something. This awareness has transformed my daily existence, allowing me to savor each moment, however small, and to live with a deep sense of gratitude and fulfillment. As I reflect on these 11 things I quit after turning 60, I recognize that every decision was made with great care, a deliberate choice to create a life aligned with my values, priorities, and the peace I now cherish. I share these experiences not as an indictment of my past, but as a celebration of the wisdom and clarity that accompany age. My journey has taught me that sometimes less truly is more, and that by letting go of what no longer serves us, we make room for what does. In this way, I continue to live each day with intention and a deep appreciation for the simple yet profound moments that make life worth living. A reflection on 11 things I quit after turning 60 marks the beginning of a journey toward a more fulfilling life. As we travel along the path of life and reach significant milestones such as the age of 60, it becomes increasingly clear that our time is precious and that the manner in which we choose to spend it has a profound influence on our happiness, our health, and our overall sense of well-being. For many individuals, this stage in life is one of deep reflection, reassessment, and purposeful transformation. The habits, commitments, and priorities we once clung to in our youth may no longer serve us in this new phase of existence. In fact, for a great many older adults, relinquishing certain things can open the door to a deeper sense of fulfillment and inner peace. What follows is an account of 11 profound and transformative things I quit after turning 60, along with insights into why letting them go has enriched my life in ways I could never have imagined. 1. Quitting work for the sake of working. In the earlier chapters of our lives, it is common to become caught up in the relentless grind of working long hours, driven by the ambition to climb the career ladder or secure financial stability. We often work hard simply because we feel that constant busyness is a measure of success. However, after turning 60, I came to the realization that working purely for the sake of being busy, or because it had simply become a habit, was no longer beneficial to me. The endless hustle had taken its toll on my physical and mental health, leaving me feeling perpetually drained and disconnected from the aspects of life that truly mattered. In this later stage, the desire to push oneself beyond reason for the sake of productivity loses its appeal. The accumulated wisdom of many years has taught me that pouring more hours into work does not necessarily yield greater fulfillment or success. In fact, the endless pursuit of productivity, especially when it is not fueled by a meaningful purpose, can gradually erode the quality of one's life. Now, I approach my work with a sense of intention. I frequently ask myself, why am I putting in these extra hours? What purpose does this serve? If my work does not contribute to a meaningful goal or does not ignite a genuine passion within me, I choose to step back. I have learned that time spent simply enjoying life, pursuing hobbies, or sharing quality moments with those I love is infinitely more valuable than endless hours confined behind a desk. This shift in perspective has ushered in a renewed sense of balance and fulfillment in my life. I no longer chase after financial gain at the expense of my own well-being. Moreover, I have embraced the idea that true wealth in our later years is not measured by the contents of our bank accounts, but rather by the richness of our experiences, the depth of our relationships, and the tranquility we discover within ourselves. 2. Quitting mindless spending. In our modern, consumer-driven society, it is all too easy to fall prey to the habit of spending money on items that we do not truly need. For many years, I found myself purchasing things out of habit or under the false impression that they would bring lasting happiness, only to discover that material possessions rarely offer the enduring fulfillment one might expect. Mindless spending often arises from a desire to fill an emotional void, or from the pressure to keep up with societal expectations. We buy things with the hope of boosting our mood or elevating our status, only to find that the satisfaction is ephemeral at best. Now I have learned to spend mindfully. I reserve my purchases for items that genuinely add value to my life or bring true joy, whether that means investing in an experience that nourishes my soul or acquiring a product that enhances my quality of life. This transformation in my approach to spending has not only allowed me to save money, but has also heightened my awareness of what is truly important. 3. Quitting stressing over the small stuff. Life is far too short to squander precious energy on worrying about trivial matters that, in the end, do not have lasting significance. In my younger years, I would often become deeply agitated by minor inconveniences, such as traffic jams, small disagreements with colleagues, or even a simple miscommunication that disrupted my day. Upon entering my 60s, I began to see that many of these stressors were insignificant when considered against the broader canvas of life. I started asking myself, will this really matter a year from now? If the answer was negative, I chose to let go of the worry. I realized that fretting over things beyond my control merely sapped my energy and robbed me of the joy inherent in the present moment. Today, I have learned to relinquish these concerns. I focus on the aspects of life I can influence, and I accept with grace what I cannot change. This mental shift has been liberating, allowing me to face life's challenges with a calm and measured perspective. 4. Quitting neglecting self-care. For a significant part of my life, I regarded self-care as an indulgence rather than a necessity. I often prioritized work, family obligations, and other responsibilities over my own well-being, mistakenly believing that constantly giving to others was the right course of action. However, as time went on, I came to understand that neglecting my own needs left me feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. Reaching the milestone of 60 was a wake-up call. I realized that self-care is not a selfish luxury, but an essential component of a healthy and balanced life. It is about nurturing my mind, body, and spirit so that I can present the best version of myself in every aspect of my existence. I began making small changes. First, I prioritized sleep, establishing a bedtime routine that allowed me to unwind and enjoy quality rest. Next, I turned my attention to nutrition, becoming more conscious of the foods I consumed and choosing options that truly fueled my body rather than drained it. Exercise became a cornerstone of my routine as well, not as an arduous chore, but as a celebration of what my body is capable of. In addition to physical self-care, I discovered the transformative power of practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and journaling, which helped me manage stress, remain present, and gain clarity about my life. Most importantly, I learned to set boundaries and to say no to commitments that did not serve my highest good. This newfound focus on self-care has imbued my life with renewed energy and purpose. I have come to see that by taking care of myself, I am better equipped to give to others. Self-care, I now understand, is not about indulgence. It is about sustainability, and it is a daily commitment to honoring the most important person in my life. 5. Quitting overcommitting to others. For many years, I was prone to overcommitting myself to others, always saying yes to invitations, requests, and favors, even when I did not genuinely desire to do so.